Hey guys, welcome. I just wanted to come on for a From the Stone. Um, Getting here was not that easy. There's lots of road closures, and they're doing a whole bunch of things on Kelly Drive. So getting here is definitely not easy. Um, my name is Druid Nicholas Declan, founder of the Druid Circle, founder of the Druid Order of Blessed Stone and Wood, and founder of Druid University. How's everybody doing? So I guess I wanted to start by, slancha. I guess I wanted to start by talking to you guys today about, as you know, that when we speak about the seasons, when we speak about things changing, when we think about the holiness of these seasons, especially that of Yule or Christmas or Alban Arthur, we start thinking about what winter is really about. And one of the things that I'd like to talk to you today and about, throughout this Yule season, in the year 4367 of our Druids, is this idea of snowflakes. And I think that snowflakes are such an important aspect of Yule, such an important aspect of the Druids. And I continually, I don't know when I get on this stone, I have no clue what I'm going to say, so none of this is scripted. I don't have a teleprompter or any kind of that stuff. I just speak, from the stone. But interestingly enough, the word snow itself, and a lot of you would like to get involved in etymology. You guys know I'm all about words, and that's really how I'm getting my truth. But if you don't understand etymology and you don't have a good idea of linguistics, you could really go in a very wrong direction. And you could end up actually not hitting the mark. So it took me about, I'd say, 72 hours to find out what the word snow meant. And you think about it and you're like, well, snow. And so a lot of people are like, well, it means this, it means that, and you go to Chambers and you go to, some other, etymology dictionaries. And to be quite honest with you, there is no meaning for the word. So I had to seriously do some deep thought and some deep ritual to really get into finding out more of the gnosis of the word. Yule. So the idea of snow comes from many different ideas, many different concepts, you see. And so I think, if I'm right, that, a lot of the origins of the word snow point to, many things: swimming, floating, sort of dancing. But then there's another thing that I found even deeper when I started looking into Old German, and that was, and if you will, even Proto Indo-European, was that I imagine that the first time of the first utterance of the word snow, like before the word snow even existed, before that word before the utterance attached itself to a concept, right? I think, if I'm correct, and I should be, that the first snow, when the first utterance, not the first snow, but the first utterance attached to that action, right, had to happen at night. It had to. white came from black. Okay? This beautiful white, fluffy stuff, if you will, came from this overwhelming darkness. And so it had to happen at some point when the utterance was attached to it, that we see all of this stuff falling and we give it the name snow. In a sense, we give it light out of the darkness. And that's the closest that I came to as far as my 72 hours of like this chunk of time and research into just one single word actually took. Imagine the magic. Imagine it being like, how is white coming from black? How is light coming from dark? How is it that this blackened sky, obviously there'd be no moon because there'd be a cloud covering, right? So how is it that this darkened sky is producing the whiteness of white? It would have been considered magic. And I think that on this wonderful winter morning that we talk about this because it's important. Yule. And so when we start thinking about this idea of snow and the power of that word, we are actually indicating a miracle, if you will, a sign, a sort of a way of the divine, of the divinity, of the divinities, of the God or gods of your understanding, producing this beautiful, the creation, producing this beautiful, beautiful silence. The other day, I was actually, I just got done doing a ritual, and then there was a squall outside, and I was watching this squall. And for those of you that don't know what a squall is, it's just basically what I would call a sun shower, but with snow, and it pours and pours and pours snow, and it just automatically stops. And as I'm watching the snowflakes, and they're dancing. They're swimming in the air. I mean, what a beauty. If you think about this beauty, if you think about this idea of snow and how beautiful it is, and we're going to evaluate snowflakes throughout this Yule season, and we're going to talk about this and the magic of it. But I would really think that this idea of dancing in the wind, and I was just watching it, and it's almost mesmerizing watching a squall. It's almost mesmerizing watching these snowflakes just dance together. Almost fairy-like. Almost sort of Yultine-like. And as a result of this, so I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this has to be a miraculous event that as I'm watching this squall, I am then mesmerized into this idea of what? This idea of being immersed in not knowing where I'm going to go, that in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the chaotic force, there is still order. And that, my brothers and sisters, is this idea of snowflakes. Yule. And so, as we think about the dancing and the embracing of each snowflake kind of tangling in with others. It's this beautiful way of saying unity, and as Bonwitz would say, that unity is the highest form of magic. And that also understanding the beauty of the snowflake, the beauty of the snow. And as you go into it deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, understanding that the first utterance of the word snow had to come at night, seeing white come from this darkened sky and being like, what the hell are we called this? Now, there are some roots, depending on whether you're going the Latin route or whether or not you're going the German route. There's some Latin roots that would say that it's a grounding. And so I think that both the German and the Latin roots, the old German and Latin roots, would have suggested that there may have been this stabilization of snowflakes. This idea that whatever this white is, whatever these white flakes are, they're good. They're good, they're holy. And that they're coming down, sent by the heavens, sent by the above, sent by the upper world. And understanding that we are so small compared to nature itself. Knowing that we are a snowflake, and that's not in all any sort of political, sort of SJW, political PC, whatever the heck they're calling them now. But I'm really specifically imaging us as a snowflake. Because a snowflake itself is not gentle. Snowflakes themselves are hardened, yet light. In a sense, they are Druid. What is Druid? Druid is the strength, the courage, the vision, and the wisdom, right? The idea of something so strong, yet so able to be more than rooted. And I think that when we start talking about snow itself, the idea of dancing, the idea of spinning around and entwining and seeing all of these snowflakes working together. Some snowflakes are over here. They're not going to really associate with those snowflakes, but guess what? We're all connected. They're all connected. And as I was watching the wind twirl, that the snowflakes were creating this beautiful cyclic sort of turbular, if you will, that this beautiful like movement. Just watching, and then all of a sudden, like this, boom, all in all crazy directions, and then what? Back again. When we think about our lives, when we think about who we are as human beings, not as political affiliations, but as human beings, we must think of ourselves as we may not necessarily agree with others. We don't necessarily have to interact with others, but know this: we are all connected. We are snowflakes. We could be the light, if we wanted to, from the dark. We could be the white from the black. We could be the full from the empty. And this goes beyond who you are as a person. What you think, what you believe. Oh-woo! Oh-woo! And so that is what I believe, truly. If we continue to see the snow during the winter, watch a celebration, a ritual of the snow, we can make magic. If you ever need a snowstorm, just throw ice into a tree. Yule. And so, as a result, it is this sort of idea of the snowflake that fluffs, waves, and swims down to the ground, so that in the end, we're all going to be grounded. That's all they're saying today, so I thank the Druids for speaking. They would speak on rocks when they believed that they were in tune with God, and I have chosen the stone or the rock to speak to you today. My name is Druid Niklas Deklan, founder of the Druid Circle, founder of the Druid Order of Blessed Stone and Wood, and founder of Druid University, all to come within the next several years. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sharing this moment with me and understanding the power of the snowflake. We'll continue to talk about the snowflake from the stone during this Yule season. Remember, I can only come out when the weather and the climate is good, as I have to drive out to the woods. I can't just get here by walking, since I live in the city and I'm an urban druid. I want to say thank you. And know that you can be the snowflake. Girawan. Betshegobra. The four druidic words of a druidic philosophy. Betshegobra. Betshegobra. It all works out. Say